Okay, so one of the things I did last year for the first time was to do the club, the Ottawa Club's art school at Calabogie, and my only regret is that I wish I'd done it a few years earlier, as do many other people in the club. And we're very fortunate today to have Jeff Miller, our head coach, with us, and I'd like to give Jeff the opportunity to give us a bit of background about art, how it started and what it accomplishes today.
Well, the Advanced Rider Training School was started by members of the club back in 2007, and the intent of the program is really to take a regular street rider who's never had the chance to go on a track and really practice cornering. So what we focus on is it's not a track day in the sense that you would go out and you think you're going to race. The idea is that we're going to make you ride every road better and make you safer in all the corners. It's really sort of the technical aspect of riding that sort of bridges the gap between some of the advanced courses you have out there and then a full-on track day. So we felt that there was an area that we could improve all our club riders in terms of safety. And over the years, I think from 2007, we're well into the hundreds, I think between 400 and 500 members and riders in the community have benefited from the program.
And I think 50 students, is that right?
That's right. Every year we're capped at 50 students because we really want to have a good sort of coach to student ratio. So typically there'll be 2 coaches to about 5 to 6 students at the most. And we try to group the students in what we think are homogeneous groups in terms of skill level, type of motorcycle, and an experience level, so that the groups are largely at the same sort of speed on the track, and so that everybody can learn in a very controlled and safe fashion. So, and funny, your first comment there, we hear that a lot. People always say, I wish I had done this years earlier, because it really does, it expands your experience so quickly in such a short amount of time.
I think I rode differently from that day on.
Well, that's right. You'll tackle every corner in a safer, more efficient manner, and able to adjust to road conditions or things maybe that appear obstacles on the road. You have that much more confidence on the bike. And that's really what we're about. I
think I understand what a BMW, just peripherally, what a BMW is really capable of now.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, no, and that's the intent of the program, is to take every rider and make them better on every road, safer.
Yeah. For those folks that maybe don't know the sort of structure of the day, if maybe you could just describe what a 1-hour piece looks like, and then we sort of repeat it throughout the day.
Well, essentially the rhythm of the day is that you'll start in the classroom, and typically 15 minutes or so with technical instruction and what the lesson plan is going to be for the next track session. And then there's a 20-minute track slot per hour. So you typically get 7 track sessions per day, all started by a classroom session. Then you go out on the track and back, and then there's a debrief point, and then back in the classroom for the next hour. So it's a busy day, and people, we encourage drinks, lots of water, have some snacks. But at the end of the day, most people have a very large smiles on their faces for having spent the day, rain or shine. And in fact, the days that we've had rain, that also teaches you amounts of traction that you have available to you, and to have confidence in your tires and your skill level.
It takes a lot of volunteers to run this.
It does. In fact, we have, just going through the numbers here this afternoon, we typically need between 20 and 25 on-track coaches. Including myself. There's, of course, ground school instruction, as well as the on-track coaches, and, of course, the club volunteers that step up for this every year in terms of registration in the morning, getting people signed in for the track, making sure all the waivers and the paperwork is done properly. The bikes have to be inspected. There's a lot of work that goes into this one day. It's kind of like the signature event in terms of our training program, and it takes weeks of preparation, and months, in fact. For all of us behind the scenes.
And is it open to non-members, or is it exclusively our club members?
Well, club members get first crack at the slots, for sure. So we open up registration typically very early in the season, the year. So this year it was January 1st. And we have just opened up to the rest of the community out there. And so typically 80% of the registrants will be club members. They get first chance at registration, and we really encourage that. Ideally, we'd fill it up with all club members, because the program is really designed to benefit the club. But at the end of the day, there are members in the community, in the riding community, that they're waiting until the day we open this thing up and hoping there's slots left. So typically there's a few left for them.
And I understand that the Calabogie track is really highly regarded also.
Spectacular. Yeah, it's almost, it's difficult to ride around the track and not get caught looking at the scenery or the wildlife at times, but spectacular track, good elevation changes, great corners. It's a fantastic place to ride, and you'll get more corners in one day than you'll get an entire riding season.
I think that's a big part of it. It's just
Absolutely.
And early in the season, always.
Right.
What time do you take?
For ART, it's typically the last Monday in May. So you have a chance to warm up on your bike a little bit if the winter ever leaves us this year, and then it's a good sort of primer for the full on season. Getting out there, getting
Get the rust off.
many corners in, and in a very controlled fashion. You learn how to tackle those corners in a very safe and controlled way.
So Jeff, it just so happens that we've got this fantastic new backdrop, and it mostly is art school. Maybe you can just point out a few of the special things.
Well, as a matter of fact, this is the class of 2018 from ART, and you can see all the smiling faces on there. This was taken at lunchtime, so sort of partway through the day. And yeah, a lot of happy faces, and you can see some of the variety of bikes that we have on the track. Everything from a scooter, perhaps, or the largest BMW touring bike. We'll have several of the K1600s out there, and you can see very popular the RT. But yeah, very much so. I mean, all the bikes that we have, you'll see on the track. And
I was sort of interested because there's a lot of GS bikes. No one just thought they would be.
Well, people think advanced rider training on a track, it means I have to have a sport bike, and that's definitely not the case. I mean, our club it's a BMW club, obviously, lots of BMWs on the track of all varieties. And what you can do is you're taking your bike on the track, you're learning how to handle that bike better in the corners, and that applies to all bikes, right from the smallest, the 310 or a scooter, all the way up to the K1600.
I notice here this is just what brings back one memory of how well organised with the marshals around the track as well, and
right.
And to take.
What you're seeing there is the groups set to go out on the track for their 20-minute session, and it's hard to tell from the picture that those are groups of probably 5 to 7 riders, led by a coach and tailed by a coach. And they'll go out on the track in a group, and they stay in a group on the track. So it's very much a controlled session at a pace that's comfortable for everybody in the group.
So for people that have done art school previously, would you recommend a repeat?
Always. As a matter of fact, there's 3 different levels that we have, depending on the experience of the individual and how their comfort level. But if you've done level 1 and are comfortable, typically you move up to level 2. And all that means that the theory is a little bit different, a little bit more advanced in the classroom, and maybe a slightly upped pace on the track, and they'll focus on different things. Your coaches may focus on different things on the track. But absolutely, I mean, many of our program graduates have done it 3, 4, and 5 years. We have some club members who have done it many more years than that, and they find it as a good primer for the riding season.
Last question. What is the sort of minimum level of skill that someone needs to really come on this day?
Well, really, we don't want a very beginning rider. I mean, someone needs to be comfortable riding their bike, but we need to have a full M license is what we prefer to have. And some that may register on their first year riding, we would probably recommend to have at least a year of riding under your belt. In fact, I do like to see novice level riders, like within the first couple of years of riding.
Before they get the bad habits.
That's exactly right. She'll get out there and you'll really learn how to control your motorcycle, or any motorcycle in a corner. But typically about a year under your belt of riding would be nice, because then you can handle the motorcycle, and then we can teach you more advanced techniques.
Excellent. Well, thank you for talking to us, and I'd just like to say how much the whole club appreciates the volunteer work that you do, because it's almost a full-time job.
It sure seems like it, but it's certainly a pleasure, and to see the smiles on the faces at the end of the day is
And safe
very rewarding.
riding all summer.
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.